Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Parent, and I'm the Systemaniac. Today we have a fantastic lesson. I'm going to be talking about my 90 degrees banking system, or as I like to call it, my 90 plus system. We're going to go over just some basic kicking principles today. And over the course of the next couple episodes, the next couple videos, we're going to talk about banking and kicking. But we will give a brief overview of your 2 rails, 3 rails, 4 rails, 5 rails, and an idea that will help you get closer to your target. And again, as we progress through this series, you'll become way more familiar with your banking and your kicking and get more in tune with your stroke and things like that. So without further ado, let's get into the lesson. So most of you probably have some sort of idea of kicking or banking, or you have a system that works, or maybe you guys eyeball it or feel it. Me, being the systemaniac that I am, I tried to find a way to make it make sense and make it easy for me as well as easy to explain to others. And so I came up with the 90 plus banking system. Now let me put it this way, I discovered this system. I wasn't taught this system. It may already be out there, but I have looked, I haven't really seen anything. If you have some information about this, feel free to send it to me or post it. But I've never seen it before. So what I've discovered is that your 2 rails are 45 degrees, your 3 rails are 30 degrees, 4 rails are 22.5 degrees, and your 5 rails are 18 degrees. Now how do I come up with this? Well, I was messing around with some kicking and banking, and I recorded it, and I noticed a pattern. And what I noticed is that if you take 90 degrees and divide that by the number of rails that you're trying to go, that will equal the degree that you need to go into the rail. And so what I've discovered, again, that take 90 degrees and divide it by 2 rails means you go into the rail at 45 degrees. So so we'll take the table, and I'll show you how to find all these different degrees. 45, 30 degrees, 22.5, and 18. Starting with the 2 rail, we're going to go 45 degrees. So now we need to look at the table and figure out how to come up with these angles. So what we have here is a rectangle that if you cut it in 2, becomes a perfect square, which in turn has 2 perfect 90-degree triangles on it. So from side pocket to corner pocket is a 90-degree triangle. So if you cut that in half, that becomes 45 degrees. So this is where your 2 rails come into play. So anywhere on this line, and bear with me because I will go over this in a different video, up to here and below is a little different deal, but from here back, 45 degrees. So let me explain this again. You take the number of rails that you're trying to go, which in this case is 2 rails, take 90 degrees and divide it by 2, that equals 45. You cut this 90 degree in half, that's 45. So anywhere parallel shifted along this line equals a 45 degree kick. And we'll get into banking and kicking later. Here are some examples of some 45 degree 2 rail kicks. So take the 90 divided by 2, that gives us our 45. We're going to parallel shift that over. That becomes our target on the rail. We're going to shoot this with no spin to start until you figure out your table conditions. So now using that same principle, we're going to shoot a 3-railer or a few 3-railers and take 90 degrees, divide it by the number of rails you want to travel, which in this case is 3 rails, which equals 30 degrees, and you go into the rail at a 30-degree angle. So again, take your 90 degree, which is half the table, and once you get these down, it's really easy to find these and then parallel shift to them, and you can find them long rail and things like that as well. So 90, half that's 45, half that's 22.5. Right here at this first diamond is about 33 degrees. So we're going to take that line and we're just going to move it back about a ball or so. You can experiment with where you're comfortable, but about a ball and a quarter, ball and a half, about a ball to the side pocket equals 30 degrees. And we'll take this and we'll parallel shift it over, which puts us here right about the middle in between the middle diamond, sorry, in between 2.5 diamonds and 2 diamonds, somewhere in that area. Find your line right about there. Here are some examples of some 3 rails. Again, we're just going to find the 30-degree line, the track line. We're going to parallel shift and then shoot right into this contact point. So now we're going to take a 4-railer. We're going to take the 90 degrees, divide it by 4 rails. That gives us 22.5. Again, this is 90, 45. Divide that by 2, 22.5 degrees. We're going to actually shoot this way. Now, if you go exactly into the line from the middle diamond to the side pocket, you will run into this pocket. So we're going to move either side of that. It favors this side a little bit more than this side, but we'll talk about that later once the video for the 4-rail comes out in its entirety. Again, this is just a brief overview. Stay tuned for the ones that come next. Here are some examples of 4 rails. So the last thing we'll talk about today is the 5-railer, which is 18 degrees. You take 90 degrees, divide that by the number of rails you want to go, which is 5 rails. That equals 18 degrees. And how we find that? Again, take your 90. We have 22.5 degrees here and 11.25 here. 18 degrees is going to be somewhere in this realm, again about a ball back or so, something to that effect. So maybe here. So we'll take that line, we'll transfer it over, and I just happen to know it's right about middle diamond here to second diamond on the long rail, and then you're going to again parallel shift to your positions. And here's some examples of some 5-rail shots. Okay, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this lesson today. Again, I couldn't cover all of the banking and kicking techniques that are involved with this, but if you'll be patient with me and give me a couple videos to get all this out, just follow me. If you guys would please subscribe and like the video, it would really help me out, and it will allow me to keep producing more and more videos. I've got more systems I want to show you guys, so just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you guys so much.
It's Kelpie Vibes.
Yeah. Baby, I know that I'm in a choco. Baby, I know that I'm in a choco. Baby, I know that I'm in a choco. Angeli,
Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, with my Angelina. Oh me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love on the low.